can we start with Alex Smith, and if you have any update on
Yes. What happened was Alex developed some tightness and muscle soreness as he was pushing off that right leg. And so as we ended the half, they took him in to get x-rays. The x-rays were fine. There was no issue there. But he had the soreness and it was tight. And so we decided not to have him go back out there in the second half. We had him there in case of emergency. He stayed on the sideline, stayed loose, and tried to loosen it up. It just stayed tight. He couldn't get it loose. And so again, we in an abundance of caution, we went with we went ahead and went with Dwayne in the second half.
Ron, Scott Abraham, ABC 7. What can you say about your defense and the performance they had in this game today?
It was pretty exciting. They did a lot of good things. They really stepped up and helped out. They did some really good things. They bowed their necks when they had to. I know there's some issues that Jack's not happy with, but Jack's expecting an awful lot from those guys, as we all are, and those guys rose to the occasion.
Hey,
Ron,
Rod.
weeks about how Chase Young was staying patient when he was being double teamed and triple teamed, when he was held sackless. For him to have the performance that he's had now, you've told him to just kind of stay not frustrated, just wait for that moment. One, just what did you say to him after the game, after this performance? And two, what was the his reaction in the locker room that we couldn't see here?
He's fired up. He really is, and quite honestly, I haven't had a chance to talk to him. It's just kind of one of those things. I told you guys, he's one of the young guys that brings a lot of energy. And it's an amazing thing because he's infectious with his teammates. And I think that's the kind of thing that we need from these young guys, is that it really carries a lot of energy into the group. And that's exciting. And he's been great. Just real happy for him because, again, he went through a lot of things in terms of, just trying to get opportunities. He's been doubled a lot. He's been tripled in the past. But he just stayed patient, kept doing his job, and came up big for us today.
Ron, given the situation, was that the performance you would have wanted from Dwayne at that time, given, when he was coming in and how it was going? Was that what you were kind of hoping for from him?
Yeah. Again, he's showing growth, and that's the thing that, we got to look for. And, we'll continue to work it, and we'll see what happens. We'll see how Alex is as this week progresses. And, we will prepare accordingly.
Ron, I know Jack always wants to get better, but what you were saying, what do you think the reason is the defense has played maybe a little bit better the last month or so? Is that the linebackers' decisiveness, the defensive line? Kind of what do you attribute that to?
I attribute to a little bit of everything. First and foremost, not having OTAs and minicamp really, I think, played into the development, slow development and growth that we had as a team. And so what's happening is I think you're seeing everything come together. And that's what we've been working towards is this time of year is to have things in the right place. And we're starting to see it.
Hey,
Ron, you've talked about players having kind of that aha moment and learning the new scheme and everything. Did Chase Young, even as a first-round pick, a very effective pass rusher early, did he kind of have that at some point in the season too?
He's starting to have that. You're starting to see him really get more and more comfortable and understand just how important it is to do things within the framework of the defense, because things that these guys do impact the players next to them, and that's one of the big things they have to understand. As they're growing and developing in this defense.
How did the offensive game plan change when Dwayne came in? It
didn't. It's one of those things that we moved the ball, got it down into position. Had an opportunity to make a couple of things happen. Unfortunately, we didn't. But you got to give them credit too. They came out and got after us a couple of times, and thank goodness, the defense stepped up. I thought one of the really big things was when we were down the goal line and we got the ball moved out, almost got the first down, but at least it allowed us to punt the ball and put them in a tough position.
And if you don't mind me clarifying, so if there had been an emergency situation, would Alex have been able to come back in?
Alex would have been able to come back in if there had been an emergency situation, but again, with an abundance of caution, because again, the calf, he strained the calf basically. And again, the positives that he took X-rays, there wasn't an issue.
Hey, Ron, what growth did you see from Dwayne?
Okay, question. I didn't hear the question.
I said you had seen some growth from Dwayne. What did you see from him that showed you that growth?
Well, the first couple series, you saw a lot of quick decisions, good decisions, some poise back there, just operating the offense.
Ron, Chase obviously gets a lot of credit, as he well deserves, but Kam Curl had the pick six, but he's been big for you guys all year. Just how much progress has he made from week one, say, to right now? And obviously it's easy to ask that on a day he had a pick six.
Well, you see the progress and the growth. I mean, the young man, again, is a very physical player. He's a box safety. He can come down and he shows some range. Again, he's a guy that's learning and understanding, and you see him putting himself in the right position. And that's where you see young guys when they're where they need to be when there's opportunities. And that's been great as far as Kam Curl has been concerned, Chase Young has been concerned. These guys, these young players, Cole Holcomb, that you see that from, that's big. And that's what we're looking for in terms of development.
Hey, Ron, I know all season long you've been preaching. Go ahead, Matt.
Sorry, that's okay. When you drafted Chase Young, I think you said something for the number 2 pick. You need a guy that makes those big plays. I mean, was today like the perfect example of that? Or
that is a great example of it. Guys that are taken as early as Chase has been, was taken, has to be a guy that can impact a game and help the guys around him be better, play better. And we've got a group of those guys on that defensive line. They all help each other be better, play better. When the outside rush is coming and bending that corner, that quarterback's got to step up. He's stepping up into the interior of our rush. If the rush is pushing and that quarterback gets outside, with that outside speed we have, we should be able to run that quarterback down and create some issues. And you're seeing that because of that.
Hey, Ron, you've talked all year about wanting the conversation about your team to look forward. That hasn't always been possible in a week like this with the people on their team. That wasn't always possible either. But what does a win like this do for you? What does this stretch of games do for you in terms of moving this conversation going forward with this team?
Well, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to talk about where we're headed, not where we've been. And I think that's one of the big things that the messages I'm hoping to get across as we go forward as a football team is that we're going to be a different team. We're going to play differently, and we're going to try and create a culture, sustainable winning culture that we can all feel good about and be proud about. And with the way these guys are playing and with their development, I hope that's the message that's getting across to the fans and that you guys can put out there to help us.
Ron, I know all season long you've been preaching, we only control what we can control. Yep. But the reality is now 3 games left in the season. You control your own destiny. You win out, you're going to make the playoffs. What's your message to the team? What was your message to the team after the game, knowing the fact now you truly control your own destiny?
And that's it. More so than anything else, it's about what we do and how we do it. I think that's the most important thing. We're relevant. We're in the conversation. People are talking about us, and we have to maintain and be humble. We have to understand that, like I told them about last week's victory and now this week's victory. This thing will carry us to the game, but it won't mean anything once we play the game. So we've just got to enjoy it and then get ourselves prepared for the next game that we play. And we got a Seattle team coming. That's a good football team.
Ron, when the defense has talent and then the talent has good results, when does that kind of lightning strike where it becomes a dominant unit, where it starts to believe it can dominate opposition?
Well, that's exactly it. They gain confidence and they play with that confidence and they make things happen. That's important. And that's the thing that we're starting to see. There's a little bit of swagger. And we gotta be careful because, we made a couple mistakes out there that were costly.
Right.
A couple penalties. We got to be a little bit better with our discipline. We're a little disciplined with our rush lanes as well. A couple of times the quarterback got outside and hurt us, and again, that's on us. We got to be, we got to play disciplined football.